All right, welcome back to the Here's the Deal channel. And the deal is there is injustice afoot. Now, I want to go through the facts of this case methodically. What we're dealing with here is the guy you're looking at on the screen is Judge John M. Rollins from Greer, South Carolina. What this judge does, in my opinion, and probably in the opinion of most sane people, if not all sane people, is a criminal act against a member of the public, and he should get no judicial immunity, qualified immunity. He shouldn't get any slack cut to him, because if you and I did what you're about to see this judge do, you and I would get the silver bracelets and a cage. Now, as a backdrop to this, there's a law enforcement division called SLED, or the South Carolina Law Enforcement Division. And the guy we're going to be that's compiling all this information is this guy right here. This guy's name is Kyle, and he is on the radar with SLED, that's the South Carolina Law Enforcement Division, for putting in a complaint against a cop who is breaking his own traffic laws. So he put in this complaint, and now he's got a target on his back and on his chest from SLED. Now, if you know anything about SLED, we've done a couple of videos on SLED. They're the ones who infamously tried to take down that farmer and destroy $2 million worth of his crops after he got state approval for the hemp that he was growing on his property. But that's just kind of a side issue. Just to familiarize you with who SLED is. So he put in this complaint, and then what happens is Kyle, I'm going to read this right here. A self-styled government watchdog encountered a Landrum City police officer violating state law regarding window tint on a city vehicle. So a complaint has already been lodged by one cop for breaking multiple traffic laws, where if we did the same thing, we would have got at least a citation from this cop, calling him out on it, putting a complaint. And then this is something separate. He called out this law enforcement officer for having window tint, where if we had the same kind of window tint, he would have gave us a ticket. So, you know, we're basically, Kyle is basically trying to hold this guy's feet to the fire of the law they would hold us to. Jocelyn sought a summons from the municipal judge, John Rollins, who refused his request during a court session. Jocelyn then picketed near Rollins' office, criticizing his performance. Later, when Rollins encountered Jocelyn on a public street, Rollins became hostile, called 911, which we're going to see, and eventually assaulted Jocelyn at gunpoint. At gunpoint! Let that sink in. Rollins subsequently sought a restraining order against Jocelyn, and this incident raises concerns about judicial conduct and misuse of authority. There's one more thing, though, with regard to judicial boundaries. After Kyle Jocelyn sought that warrant for the cop with the license, the window tinting, Judge Rollins sent out a cop as Kyle walked out of the office, walked across the street, went into a public parking, and the cop told Kyle that he couldn't be there because he's trespassing. And Kyle brought up this law right here, which is State versus Hannipol, which is a South Carolina Supreme Court law that basically says that trespass law is not for public property, and you can't trespass a member of the public where the public has the right to be, which is exactly what Judge Rollins wanted that cop to do. And Kyle stood his ground and said, go ahead, see if you're going to trespass me. And the cop walked away. So that's the backdrop for all this. So basically, in the eyes of the judge, and probably in the eyes of a lot of badge law enforcers in Greer, South Carolina, Kyle's not a good guy, because he's not playing according to the rules, because he's trying to hold us accountable. We can't have that. So with that as the backdrop, here's how this video starts.
Where I can see him, where I can see him, where I can see him, where I can see him.
Greer 911, what's the address of your emergency?
Yes, ma'am, this is John Rollins. If y'all could send an emergency out, I got a fellow been stalking me, this Judge Rollins.
Hold on, sir. Okay. And who is stalking you?
Look how close. He's holding him, an innocent man who's there protesting. Oh, that's the other thing. Kyle went out there with a sign, and the sign literally says, and you'll see it here in a second, Quote, this is the sign. John M. Rollins is a thug who doesn't know the law, state versus Hannibal. That's all the sign says. And that's all it took to set this judge off and hold this innocent man at gunpoint.
Jocelyn, man, and you need to send the police out here immediately.
Okay, it's going to be just a little bit. We got something major going on, so it's going to be just a little bit, but I'll get
Well, it won't be long. This gentleman, he's been stalking me, Sled's been involved in it.
I'll get somebody as quick as I can. And
Well, he's already been stalking me, and he's waiting for me when I come back from court in front of my office.
Okay.
And what I'm going to do is invoke the castle doctrine, and I'm going to drop this son of a bitch in the yard.
Okay, sir, don't do that. We're on recording.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. If y'all get somebody, I need somebody out.
There's your threat right there from a judge. I don't care who this guy is. Look at his face. He's just a member of the public like everybody else is, and he shouldn't get special treatment and won't get special treatment from the police department, right?
You're right this second.
I'm getting somebody as quickly as I can, okay? Do you
Yes,
know
ma'am.
if he's armed? Do you know if he's armed?
I don't know if he's armed or not, ma'am. Sled's got a dossier on it, so they need to get out of here now. I'm afraid to walk to my office. Afraid he'll shoot me in the back.
All right, I'm getting somebody out there.
Yes, ma'am.
Bye-bye. Kristen, 911, what's the address emergency?
Yes, there's a gentleman out here in front of our office with
Yeah, give me a
a
description
gun.
of him.
He's an elder gentleman in a jacket, like a business coat jacket and pants, gray hair.
Okay.
He's pointing a gun at a gentleman that is in the back of a bed of a truck, telling him to get down.
Okay. Was it a long gun or a short gun?
It's a short gun. It's like a handgun.
Okay, all right. And he is a white male?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
I think the police just arrived.
Okay. All right. If they're out there, I'm going to go ahead and hang up with you, okay?
Okay, yeah, they're out front.
All right, bye, sir.
Thank you.
Uh-oh, let me refresh this page. 334.
A short gun.
It's a short gun. It's like a handgun.
Okay. All right, bye, sir.
There we go.
Thank you.
Put your hands on your head.
Okay.
Put your hands on your head.
Where it is. In this pot now.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
In the pants pocket right there.
Okay.
Here's the holster for it. That's fine.
Just keep your hands up, please.
I am.
Just got one in the chamber.
Yes. Not anymore.
Okay.
And I understand that. Where did you put the holster? You got it?
It's in his hand.
Okay. Can I place your
You
weapon
can.
back into it now that I know it's clear?
Pointing the gun at somebody. Did you see that? Look at this.
Okay. Do you have any other weapons
No,
on you?
ma'am.
Alrighty. Okay. Well.
By the way, this video comes from not only Kyle, but Shields of Shame. So credit to Kyle, Jocelyn, and Shields of Shame. We will leave the links in the description for you.
All right. But okay. You may put your hands back down now.
The judge was not placed in handcuffs and treated far differently than any other citizen. It is important to note the gravity of the offenses the judge just committed. Holding someone at gunpoint outside a courthouse because the judge dislikes their critical signs constitutes assault, battery, and false imprisonment, violating the individual's rights and constituting an abuse of judicial authority. Such actions undermine the principles of impartiality and freedom of speech guaranteed by the First Amendment, while also breaching judicial ethics. Consequently, the judge could face legal consequences, including criminal charges, civil lawsuits, and disciplinary action, while the affected individual may seek remedies for any harm suffered.
And shouldn't the judge face the same punishment as the rest of us would face?
I do have.
I mean, imagine, I can't even imagine pointing my gun at somebody who didn't do anything wrong. And I can't imagine what kind of punishment would befall me if I did that.
Your
This fella, they've had dangers with him in Landrum. He was up at Landrum, had to call sled on him. I come in today, I've been at Union all morning. I come in, I park up there, and as I'm walking by, he speaks to me, holding a sign, saying something to me. He's up in the back of that truck. I'm afraid to walk past it because he's got a gun on him.
Yes, sir.
And he's been stalking everybody. The solicitor's involved in this stuff. I told him to let him keep the hands where I could see him. I called the
it's going to be very difficult to keep up with the amount of lies that this judge spews on body cam, but you'll catch on.
Y'all to come down here, take care of it.
Yes, sir.
He starts to get out of the truck. That's when I see his gun. That's when I grab him and pull him to the edge of the truck and pull my gun, because I don't know if that crazy son of a bitch is gonna come out and shoot me. He's been up at the police chief's house at Landrum parking out front, stalking him.
Yes, sir.
And everything like that. If you call SLED, they'll let you know what you're dealing with.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Hello, the units 317. I need an individual coming in from Maine. Individual in the truck says he's got him at gunpoint. There's a blue truck parked in front of the building. Individual is in the bed of the truck.
Now check this out. When Kyle made the sign, he's in the truck way over here. He's not in front of Rollins' office. This is Rollins' office right here. Let me get myself out of the way. So it's about, from what I understand, it's about 120 to 150 feet. 3 business separate Rollins' office from where Kyle decided to set up shop in the back of his truck in a public parking place with a sign exercising his constitutional right with an alleyway in between 3 businesses and Rollins in the truck. That's how far away he was.
I'm on hold with the police department. Should I just hang up?
Do you know what's going on? Step over here with me.
Yeah, I think Greer. There's officers here now, so I'm
Sit over here.
gonna put the phone down.
Step over here with me.
Thank you. I don't know what the hell's going on, but I'll tell you what happened. Hey, this guy's losing his shit. The guy.
Who is...
So I was walking down here. The guy that's in the bed of the truck was in the truck, and he was holding a sign, and they were talking about something. And all of a sudden, this guy realized when his jacket came up that he had a gun in his holster, and he pulled out his gun and started freaking out.
I got you. Hang tight
Yelling,
here.
call the police, call the police.
Just hang tight here for me.
That SLED's got a dossier on him, and we'll call SLED. They'll come here and they'll get it filled up for him.
Well, just stand up.
So the man with the gun is not being put in handcuffs at all?
Hang tight.
He just, if you talk to that witness over there,
Grab that.
he just wants to be in handcuffs, not me.
Come on, come on.
I'm heading to my car. I was just walking by.
Okay, gotcha.
Situation at all. I just saw it happen. So you only ask
What kind of stuff?
We will, but it'll be a few minutes.
Yeah.
So the victim, the guy who had the gun pulled on him, is the guy who gets handcuffs, while the guy who is the aggressor with the gun doesn't get handcuffs.
You can go back to your car until.
Sir, what is your name, if you don't mind?
Andrew.
Andrew?
You can go wait in your car. You don't have to stand right here unless you just want to.
I mean, just to put in a word real quick,
We'll
this
come in and talk
gentleman
to you.
is the one that attacked him.
Okay,
Yeah,
gotcha.
so, but
All right.
he's a judge.
Look at this. So in the face of a witness, hey, just to put everything into perspective, this guy right
So
here, this is the guy who's the attacker. You're arresting the victim. And they're like, yeah, whatever. Turning their backs on the guy who had the gun.
That's why they're taking his word. That's why he's
We have a job to do. Sir, you come with me, please.
vehicle?
Yep.
Yeah, come to your car. Sir, what are you picking up?
Place the holster.
His holster.
Okay.
Yeah, I think you need to disarm him too.
Hey, Ash.
It's aggravated assault is what
I
just
think-
happened.
Go with
I think we need to disarm him too. This is just so slapshot Barney Fife Mayberry RFD, man.
Does he have a 49? If he does, you need to get it.
It's aggravated assault.
I'm just dealing with you, okay? Don't let him deal with him. That's all you have.
You're keeping it. Hold on. It's empty. My job.
Women can do that to men, but men can't do that to women?
Absolutely.
Really? Y'all got it made.
She goes, absolutely.
No. I shouldn't be in the house.
Well, we gotta figure out what's going on.
Yeah, you need to talk to the witness. Why isn't anyone talking to the witness?
They did talk to the witness. They don't care.
No, I feel like everyone's talking to this guy, and no one's talking to the witness who saw what happened.
Tell us. I don't have body cam, so tell us what happened.
I don't know if I want to. I don't know if I want to talk about it.
You're telling, but
Ask
listen,
the witness. Ask the witness.
You're also a witness because you're
He's
here.
volunteering his statement.
Okay, so what you're telling me is you don't want to tell me what happened.
I told you already. The man pointed a gun at me.
Okay. Why are you here? How do you know him? All that good stuff.
I'm holding my sign right there.
Okay.
Standing in the back of my truck.
Okay. This is your truck. Okay. Got it.
Public parking space.
Got it.
Public road. Okay. John M. Raleigh is a thug who doesn't know the law. State versus Tahlequah.
Okay.
The man sent a cop out to try and prevent me from sitting in a public parking lot. Okay? Now, the law, South Carolina Supreme Court, says state versus Tahlequah, you cannot be trespassed from public property where the public is normally allowed to be. Okay? So, I'm here with my sign, letting everyone know that this judge doesn't know the law.
Okay.
0627.
And so he came and he started calling and saying that I was stalking him and threatening him, and he started, shaking real bad and talking about gun and stuff, and said he was going to put a bullet in me. So I said, all right, that's it. I'm going to leave. I'm going to leave. And so I went over here and I stepped down on my tire. He was over there. He ran over here, grabbed me by my belt, and started yanking me down.
Like out of the side?
Out of the side of the truck. Okay. And then I got back in the truck. Okay? And that's when he said he saw my firearm in the holster. He pulled his gun out and kept it at my head and told me not to move.
Okay. Okay. So what office did he come out of? Where did he come out of?
I don't know. He came from that way.
He came from that way. Okay, so where does he work normally? Why did you choose this location?
The behavior of the officers raises concerns about potential bias or preferential treatment toward the judge involved. By asking questions seemingly aimed at minimizing the severity of the judge's actions or implying fault on the part of the victim, the officers may be attempting to protect the judge. They may have grounds to pursue a civil rights claim, or if they were treated differently from the judge without a legitimate plea under the law.
His office is right.
Okay, I've got
We work with people in the rear, so I thought everyone should know.
I'm going to go in there outside. Thank you. So let us get all the sides.
I just went ahead and fast forwarded that because we're going to talk about a lot of this stuff real quick, but I want you to get the testimony of him. And then I want you to see how the judge lies about everything that happened, nearly everything that happened, how he tries to implicate this guy as some kind of bad guy that's on the crosshairs of SLED, which he is, but not for a bad reason. And I want you to see how the cops treat the judge as opposed to how they treat Kyle.
We're going to talk to them, the witnesses, and we're going to talk to him.
I know how this goes. He's a judge. He can commit aggravated assault.
Being a judge doesn't exempt you.
Yeah, he's got that.
Exempts you from a whole lot.
You don't need any additional units on that one.
That's insane. And why are you running my firearm?
That's from your temple.
You have the right to run my firearm?
Yes, sir.
You do? What law is that? Yeah, can you tell me where my phone is, please?
Is that true? Did they have the right to run your firearm through the system when you haven't been suspected of committing a crime?
I don't know. It's not right here.
I really hope the judge doesn't know.
Oh, is that what he handed me? Did he hand me your phone? He handed me something.
Yeah,
okay.
I think he had. Yeah, that's
Right here. Okay.
That's specific. So
No, you're not gonna touch your phone.
Why?
Because you're in
harm you?
investigative detention right now, and you're not allowed to mess with
Okay,
it. So just put it back in the
why is the judge not in investigative detention?
I am dealing with you. All I know is that when I got here, you had a firearm.
Nope, it's because he's a judge. You know why. He lost his mind.
Favoritism's already bleeding through.
I thought he was going to kill me. I thought I was dead. He had that gun pointed to my head. He had his finger on the trigger, and he was shaking 3 inches away from my face.
All I did was I drew my gun, told him to stay put till y'all got here. I called 911. They said it might be a minute or two.
Yes.
And then another gentleman called 9. Yeah, I understand.
Very, very active
I understand. But another gentleman called 911 too.
Yes. Okay.
I'm not playing around with
the gentleman in the blue Chevy up?
I don't know what car he's in, but the fella had like a ball cap on
We need
it.
to get a statement from our witness up there.
Yeah, maybe all he saw was me grabbing him out of the truck.
And then we'll get a statement from.
Do you have any ID on you, sir?
Yeah, I didn't know. I'm reaching in my pocket.
Yes, sir.
I didn't know anything about him being there until I got right beside him and he
Where
said something.
exactly is your office?
Right there.
Okay, that's what I
So
thought.
he may have been out here all day. Because
Right,
nobody,
and we don't
unless
know.
he's called and found my schedule or
Yes.
whatever. And he's sitting there waiting for somebody to come up. And then he says something to me there. And by that time, I'm right on top of him. I
Yes,
can't
sir.
go nowhere. And I'm
No.
not be damned if I'm going to turn my back on him. And he's been armed. He's been armed up there at the courthouse.
So maybe let's add a little bit more distance now.
But he don't need to go anywhere till y'all talk to Sled.
No.
Judges do not have direct authority over law enforcement officers outside of the courtroom. Judges typically have authority within the courtroom to enforce order, rule on legal matters, and oversee proceedings. However, their authority generally does not extend to giving direct orders to law enforcement officers outside of court proceedings.
Come on, listen.
We'll say right out here. There's a fellow up in a blue Chevy truck. I guess he's the one who called us.
Step in here with me so I can call Sled and let them.
We'll just wait right here, sir. Sir, just wait out here for now.
I'm standing here in the shade where I can call the Sled fellow right quick.
So what kind of situation has been going on with this fellow?
Let me get in.
Do you know this gentleman's name?
It's Jocelyn's his last name.
Jocelyn's?
Joslin.
All right, cool. J-Law, which is Kyle Jocelyn, is in the room. He says, I never brought a gun into the courthouse. Yeah, when you hear him say a lie or something, I'll try to take a look at the chat, J-Law, just to give you a face with the name. That's him right there. Kyle's in the room right now, setting the record straight on everything this judge says, because this judge lies a lot. And that should be a factor in any kind of proceeding moving forward.
So I'll call Drew Ledbetter with Sled then. That's the letter on it.
Do you know if he was recording at all?
Oh yeah, he recorded all it. Drew, hey, this Judge John Rollins at 864-630-0753. Jocelyn just jumped me at my office, waiting on me to come in from court with a sign and had a gun on him. When he tried to get out of the truck, I didn't know if he was going to hurt me or what, so I grabbed him and pulled him to the edge of the truck and pulled a gun on him till the police.
I don't know why I keep saying J-Law. It's L Jaws. Sorry, guys. It's L Jaws. So this right here is the rap sheet that was distributed by Sled after Kyle, and Kyle, correct me if I'm wrong, after Kyle submitted the complaint against the officer who was basically guilty of multiple traffic infractions that he would have cited Kyle or you or me for. So this is the write-up, this is the dossier that Sled had on Kyle that Rollins is talking about.
Scott there, Greer Police is involved in it. If you could give me a call or call the Greer dispatcher to get you to the boys that's down here, it'd be great. Thanks. And that's Drew Ledbetter with Sled.
Has he ever made any sort of threats or
Let me go. You give me a glass of water. What I do? I'm the city judge at Landry.
Sure.
And they've been dealing with him up there, and all the judges at Spartanburg been dealing with him, and he's some kind of Freeman kind of freak. He shows up, they arrest him in Landrum for bringing a gun onto or say something. I don't think they arrested him. I think he just said something about bringing a gun onto a child daycare center up there, and this was last week. Excuse me. So the officer that told him not to do that, go put it in his car, he gets into it with him a little bit. That same night, the next morning.
So, L. Jaws, what's the deal with the daycare center thing? L. Jaws says in the room, yes, my complaint on the trooper was sustained.
We have court on Wednesday.
Yeah.
He's sitting out in front of the police chief's house, Jason Coffin. He's sitting out at his house scoping the house out. So then he comes to court when he has no business coming to court. He sits there outside of court, tries to come in with his phone to tape everything in the court. Well, he don't have any business, and we don't have phones in the courtroom. So he sits there and he waits all court and decides he wants a warrant issued. Well, I don't issue warrants for private people in the municipal court.
Sure.
Told him that. So then he gets
What
mad.
was his grievance about the warrant? Like, what do you want?
He's wanting to arrest one of the officers about the tint in the windshields. They got too much tint on their windshields. Private warrant for that. So then I tell him you need to leave. Well, he gets mouthy about it, and I tell him you need to leave before you get held in contempt of court. Well, he leaves, and he's sitting up there. The door for the courthouse is right here, and on my bench I can see out the door. He's parked in that same truck he's in right now. He's parked in that truck, sitting there, and he sat there about 15, 20 minutes waiting for me to come out to say something or follow me home or whatever, because he's done followed everybody else home. I called SLED. Well, excuse me.
Okay, L. Jaws says about this thing that Rollins just said. I was at a fall festival at the daycare, and I was carrying my firearm under my jacket. That is not a crime. It is only a crime to carry a firearm into a daycare facility.
Before I did that, I told the officer, I said, go out there and tell him to leave. And the officer goes out there, the officer tells him you need to leave. He won't roll the window down, and he says, I ain't going nowhere.
So what happened? Walk me through, like, what happened on the sidewalk out here?
On the sidewalk.
I didn't catch the first part of it.
So I'm parked, it's bright out here and you can't see. I park at the corner parking lot there, and I've got my drink and my bag in the hand I'm going to throw away. And I'm walking down, I don't even see him. Here's this blue truck, and I hear out of my ear, I hear somebody say, you coming home now, Judge, or something smart like that. And I got to looking, and he's got a board up there that said, John Rollins is a crook and all this stuff like that. And he's got a pistol on him, and I said, well, buddy, I told SLED I'm going to call.
Did you see the handgun on him today?
When he's trying to get out of the truck, I saw it. He's got it under his coat. It's a side rig under his coat. I didn't see it right then, but I said, you let me see both your hands, Hot Rod. And I said, I'm going to call 911. Well, that's when I called him. They said, y'all couldn't get down here. Well, by that time, I'm as close from me to you there, so I just back up against the wall. And I'm sitting there waiting for him to do it. And I said, you just sit right there and keep your hands where I can see him. And he's holding that board so I can see both of his hands. I'm not necessarily threatening him, but I ain't about to walk away and him shoot me in the damn back or something.
Sure.
And because we know he's armed. He's been armed at the courthouse. He's been armed everywhere he goes.
Yeah.
And so he's sitting up there with the thing. Well, he knows it's about time for y'all to show here, because I dialed 911. It's about time for y'all to show here. He's going to try to get out. Well, he's starting to lean over the car, and when he does, I see that pistol. I don't know what he's going to do.
Sure.
So I grabbed him right there and tried to pull him off the truck. Well, he didn't pull, so I just pulled him to the corner there. And by that time, I done drawn my gun, and I grabbed him by the hand. I said, you just stay put, because I'm not about to let somebody pull a damn gun on me that's been threatening everybody. And that's when y'all come, and I held him there with the gun on him. And that other fella there, I don't know where he come from, if he come on down the street or whatever, but he wasn't there. He wasn't there when all the other stuff was going on. All he saw me with a gun on him. And of course, Mr. So-and-so, Mr. Jocelyn's talking like he just happened to be.
L. Jaws, which is Kyle Jocelyn, said, this is in the room, this is a reading from the chat room. He didn't see my gun until I tried to leave after he threatened to kill me on the 911 call right in front of me. He admits I never reached for my firearm and I never threatened him.
Somebody's walked up and pulled a gun on him.
Johnson's talking like he just happened to be, somebody's walked up and pulled a gun on him.
Sure. Okay. Do you mind if I get a copy of that letter?
No, come on.
Okay.
That came out, they've been dealing with this asshole since about June. And he is an aggressive son of a gun.
Who all's dealt with him?
The solicitor's office, the courthouse over at Spartanburg, the magistrates at Spartanburg, our police department, and a couple other police departments. If you get a hold of, see, they've got Special Agent Haley Nelson. She probably tell you all of them, but I've been dealing with the main SLED agent. The SLED told me to do what I needed to do.
And I'm not going to be accosted on the street with some asshole with a gun. I'm just telling you.
Sure. When was the last time you saw Mr. Jocelyn?
At court, Wednesday. Karen, when was court? Last Wednesday?
Excuse me.
October 12th, Wednesday.
Okay. Did he make any sort of threats or statements to you at that time?
Are you watching the bike shop here or not? Thank you.
Did he make any statements to you at that point when he saw you?
At court?
Yes.
Just being smart. I mean, he never had dealt with me
Any
prior to that.
threatening?
He never did dealt with me prior to that.
Okay.
Yeah, Brian Jones says in the chat, damn, dude, you're pissing everybody off. Yeah, Kyle has a target on his chest. He has a family. We need to make sure that this video goes viral. This judge needs to be brought to justice, period. They cannot get away with this. And if SLED jumps in the action on this, we already know how corrupt they are. Even fake stream CIA infiltrated Operation Mockingbird MK Ultra Media has exposed SLED. And that's bad when mainstream media exposes you.
I didn't see it. This fella says, "It's bright on my street." I didn't see it. This fella says something to me, and he's in the back of the truck with a billboard with something derogatory about me on it, and just starts accosting me on the street as Mr. Jocelyn. And Mr. Jocelyn is in the back of the truck saying something to me, and I called 911 then, and I told him just stay put. And I'm leaning up against the building while the police get here because I'm not going to get shot in the back walking down my street. So he sits there long enough to think that the police may be coming, so he tries to get out of the truck. When I do, I see a gun on him, and I grab his arm to pull him out of the truck, and he didn't go out of the truck, but I pulled his arm over to the trunk of the truck, and I held him at gunpoint. I pulled my gun and held him at gunpoint till the cops got there. And they're dealing with that now, and I have the sergeant that's here if you'd like to talk with her.
And CDC before with their prior dealings with him.
I just trying to determine, today's incident specifically.
Okay, she says the right thing here, and then she backtracks on the right thing. I'm just trying to determine what happened today. But then she says,
if there was fear involved, what's kind of the basis of how we got to where we are.
Right.
And I'd love to be able to talk to the SLED agent that he's talking to. But
I'd like to talk to the SLED agent. The SLED agent has nothing to do with the incident that happened today. Today's case is an isolated incident where a man is exercising his constitutionally protected right in public on a public place. The judge didn't like it and pulled a gun on him.
he needs to get off the phone for that to happen.
Well, I'm gonna let you talk with Sergeant. She's right here.
I'll just call him back from my phone real quick. If you'll let him know that I'll give him a call from my phone as soon as y'all get off the phone.
When that's done. But that rascal, I don't know how long he's been sitting up here waiting, because I'm here a little bit later than I normally am. And he's sitting. He's about probably 50 feet from my office parked on the street with that sign there doing whatever he's doing.
50 feet from my office. It's way more than 50 feet.
And he I don't know, and he's sitting there just enticing me to do something.
Mr. Rollins, we'll give him a call. Would you mind hanging up?
Yeah, I'm gonna let them do it. She'll call you. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Okay. But y'all notice that because he may be trying to do something to them other officers too. All right. Yes, sir. Thank you. Bye.
Oh, is that what he handed me? Did he hand me your phone? He handed me something.
Yeah,
okay.
I think he had. Yeah, that's
Right here. Okay.
That's specific. So
No, you're not gonna touch your phone.
Why?
Because you're in
harm you?
investigative detention right now, and you're not allowed to mess with
Okay,
it.
why is the judge not in investigative?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am. That's
okay.
true.
I'm gonna step out and give him a call.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yeah, the judge, the actual criminal, the actual aggressor is not in any kind of detention. He's not in cuffs. He's the guy that pulled the gun on the innocent guy. What the frick is going on here?
And he's holding his phone like that the whole time.
Subscribe.
So did he ever reach for his firearm at all?
Okay.
Okay.
But when he was coming out, I didn't know what he was doing when he was coming out. That's when I saw it. That when he come out, he's throwing his leg. He didn't come out the tailgate. He's coming out over the side of the vehicle. So when
he's in the back of his truck.
He's in the back of the truck. Yeah, he wasn't inside. No. He's standing up in the back of it like this,
holding the sign.
That's why I don't know. He wouldn't know I was going to Union unless he looked. Unless he figured.
Can we just take a moment and just appreciate the time capsule that we're looking at right here? This is like it's got a 1970s couch with 1970s wood paneling on all the walls. That is like walking back in the, 50 years ago.
I just be up here all day and he's just been sitting out there waiting for somebody to come out of the office or what, I don't know.
Is this your private practice address? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So he could have even just Googled your name.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And this would have come up.
It'd be easy to get him, but I don't know how long he's out there.
Sure. So did he have a warrant, or was
L Jaws says in the chat, and this is L Jaws is Kyle again, in case you're just coming in. I was in the back of my truck to protect myself from them claiming I was blocking the sidewalk, or if I tried to say, or if they tried to say I bumped into someone.
he cited for anything that initiated this, or is he just starting it by wanting to get a warrant on an officer with tinted windows?
I don't know if they charged him with that pistol down at the school daycare thing or not.
Yeah.
But when he came up to get the warrants, he wasn't charged with anything, and nobody charged him with anything.
Okay.
I just told him he needed to leave. That wasn't what we were up there for. You know, you don't get a warrant from the judge on went to 10th on a police car.
Yeah.
And told him to leave, and then he's mad.
SLED is the South Carolina State Law Enforcement Division.
He's sitting out there stalking everybody at the place.
Hey, I'm sorry to interrupt real quick. Hey, Judge. What was it that he said to you? You said, from what I'm gathering, you were walking down the sidewalk and you kind of popped out of the back of his truck. Okay, what did he say to you?
Kind of popped out the back of his truck.
Initially.
Something like, you going to your office, or you here, or something, just something smart.
Okay.
And then because I wasn't looking for him. You know, I wasn't looking for him. So I'm just walking down. The sun's hitting me in the face as I'm coming down.
Yeah.
And it's like, what? And then I see who it is, and I noticed the truck then.
Okay. So you're familiar with him. You've had issues with him. And then what was said after?
L. Jaws wants to clarify about this daycare thing. I was never charged because I never brought a firearm into a daycare facility. That's the thing the judge keeps bringing up. Like he's some kind of bad person for this. And I was in the parking lot of a fall festival. He wasn't in a daycare facility. He was in a parking lot.
That
he just keeps running that mouth, and by then I'm up right beside his truck when he said that. So I'm not gonna walk down the street and get shot in the back. Well, I don't know what the crazy fool's gonna do.
Right.
And so I just backed up to the building and I said, "You just stay right there," and I called 911 to call y'all.
Okay.
And they said it'd be a minute, you know.
Okay.
Because there's something going on. And then I told him, I said, "Well, we'll just sit here till the police get here." You know,
okay.
I'm sitting there, nobody's drawn nothing.
Okay.
And then he's sitting in the back running that mouth some more. You also just trying to incite something. He's taping it all on his phone. He's holding that board with his phone in one hand like that, so I can see both his hands. So I'm not real concerned.
Right.
So he's sitting up there doing that, and then he figures it's about time for him to start rolling up. So he's like he's going to leave, and so he's getting off. He's in the back of the truck instead of getting off at the tailgate where the bumper's at. He's climbing off on the bedside to the road.
Okay.
When I do that, I see that gun, and I don't know what he's going to do. Whether he's going to pull that gun and start shooting when he gets on the other side of it, or what. So when he's in a position like that, I grab him. I walk up and I grab him because I'm either going to put him on the ground, or I'm going to get him up where I can get a hold of him because I don't want nobody shooting me. So he doesn't. When I grab him, he pulls back in like that, and then that's when I grabbed him and pulled him to the trunk. I got both.
Yeah, because that's what you always do when you're fearing for your life. If you see a guy with a gun, you grab him by his belt. The first thing you don't pull your gun if you see a guy with a gun and you're fearing for your life. You take both of your hands and you grab him by the belt, leaving his arms free to possibly grab a gun and turn around and shoot you. That makes a whole lot of sense. Ain't no fearing for your life going on here. This cop is this judge is crazy.
His arms over the
thing,
and I grabbed his shooting arm, and by that time I'd drawn and told him, "You just sit put."
Okay. So were you on the sidewalk side or the street side?
Me, I'm on the sidewalk side.
And then got it.
Yeah, his truck's that way, so he's the bed to the road's where he's getting out.
Gotcha.
And I didn't have far to step. And when I got a hold of him, I got to the street side. But when he went back in there, I stepped behind him and I just pulled him onto the trunk.
Okay, got it. Okay, thank you. I'm sorry
And
to
it's probably,
interrupt. Keep
he's
going.
probably got all that on his phone.
Oh, did he already have his gun out when he grabbed you by the belt, L. Jaws? He already had his gun out, so he grabbed you by the belt with one arm? Because he motioned like he had two arms. He wasn't scared. L. Jaws says he wasn't scared. He was angry. He stated he was running that mouth, and I was getting agitated.
Okay. Yeah, I have his phone.
Mm-hmm. But you need to keep his phone.
Yeah,
And they don't tell what you might find on there else, too.
Okay.
A judge is telling a cop you need to keep the phone, which is an absolute violation of your Fourth Amendment right to be secure in your papers and effects. A judge who makes decisions on legal matters in the cases of real people tells a cop you need to seize his property without a warrant. Very interesting. There's so many things wrong with this whole thing.
Okay. Did you hear that?
No, he pulled his gun out after he grabbed me by the belt and I pulled away from him, says L. Jaws, says Kyle.
So this is the first time he's ever showed up here?
Right.
Okay. Did you ever point your weapon at him, or did you just pull it out?
I pointed it at his head.
Okay.
He admits
I've got one hand by myself. I'm 61 years old. I'm not going to wrestle a buck out there. And he had sense enough, he wasn't wrestling too much. If I'd seen him there, I would have called him. But he didn't say nothing, and he about ambushed me. I mean, I was beside his truck when he said something.
Yeah, that's...
My wife said, her hairdresser, her fingernail girl's in that White House there.
Mm-hmm.
She saw him out there. Somebody out there with a sign. So I don't know if he's there any earlier than that.
I got you. So he's been out here for a little bit.
And so he...
Everybody, don't get mad at Bacchus Shamil. He's just messing with everybody. When he says that he's 61 and a wise judge, he's being facetious. What's up, Backy?
May have never figured I'd be walking by. May just been doing his butt bull, just out front where nobody would know it.
He looks older than 61, says King Braveheart.
And the solicitor at Spartanburg, Barry Barnett, they're trying to build enough. He's already monkeyed around with the judges and stuff over there where they're trying to get some type of circuit court restraint.
Somebody ain't been taking their vitamin Vegemin and working out every day.
I see.
But he was taping all of it. And I don't know if he had that phone in his hand when I walked up, but it was there when I noticed it.
When you were backed up against the wall.
Did you see that? He said a couple times, I was backed up against the wall. There is no video evidence to substantiate that claim. You know why? Because he was never backed up against the wall. This guy is just freaking... This is a guy who would throw you into jail for lying to him, and here he is lying to a cop on body cam. I mean, guys, share this video. Go to L. Jaw's channel and subscribe to him, and let's get this judge popular. We still got more to go. Just stay tuned. I hope you're seat belted in.
Sure.
I couldn't go much place.
So you're at the front of the back of his truck, like on the wall.
Well, on the wall, where the bicycle shop is, there's that space there. So I'm
Look
about...
at that.
It's like near
where his bed's at, I'm about between the cab and the bed right there.
He's just
So
lying.
you got around to that other side pretty quick then.
When he was getting out and I saw that gun, my chance was right then. I wasn't...
Right.
That rascal get on the ground, he's bigger than I am. I took a picture of him when I walked up, when he starts talking to me. So he don't have a phone there, doesn't look like. You see one?
Mm-mm.
He pulled his phone out, so he wasn't expecting nobody, I don't think.
It's such a hard decision when it's a judge, right? It was us little peasants, you know. Then we'd be in handcuffs in an instant. Videos of it, independent witnesses.
Yep.
That's what happens when you have that much power. It goes to your head.
Here, you got him in a second?
Yep.
I'm not going anywhere. I didn't do anything wrong.
You're still gonna stay here, you know? I can't just leave you.
Did you watch his video?
I did not.
Who did?
I'm not sure who did.
Are you in charge here?
L. Jaws says, actually, the judge is 6 foot. I'm 5'10". He outweighs me by about 20 pounds.
Who is?
Probably the initial responding officer.
Yeah, exactly, Donnie Darko. What would have happened if Kyle defended himself, and he rightly could have? I mean, the judge is reaching into Kyle's property to do something to Kyle when Kyle's not doing anything wrong. And he's holding him at gunpoint. I mean, there's a lot of you out there, and I know a lot of people personally who wouldn't have taken kindly to have a gun pointed at their head. Thankfully, nothing bad happened to Kyle, and he didn't have to use his firearm to defend himself. But when you're in the moment, you don't know that. You got this guy, pointing his gun at you, jeopardizing your life. What if you looked away and you got the drop on him and you put a bullet in his cranial structure? What would happen to you?
So who would that be? Him?
Quite possibly.
This is why it's good to have a one of those 360 cameras, because they're super unassuming. They don't look like they're recording. You can duct tape. You can put electrical tape. I'll grab mine here in a second, but just to show you, you don't have to get the kind that I got. There's a lot of good ones out there, but when you have a 360 camera, it records in all directions at all times, and it's got some fairly decent audio. Cover yourself. So if you did have to, dislodge that piece of metal into somebody's brain in self-defense, you got everything recorded from all angles.
Come on, you can say it.
No, I'm not saying a thing.
Come
I got
on.
nothing. I got not a thing.
It really becomes a
No.
difficult case when it's a judge, right? It's real difficult to figure out what happened.
So why did he hand me your phone and say there's evidence on here? It's all on here. Why did he?
I'm glad. Yeah, I want that evidence.
Okay, so what is on it?
I
I have it in my pocket.
recorded the whole thing,
Okay.
the whole interaction.
Do you mind
It
if
might
we-
not be video, but like the picture, but the audio for sure. I got him on video a few times, I think. But when you're getting a gun pointed at your head, you don't really.
So do you mind if we sit here and watch it together? I can't hand it to you, but we can sit and watch it
I
together.
can't do that. No,
You
I'm not
can't
gonna-
do that?
I'm not going to do that.
Okay.
You can see his video. He videoed it too.
Okay.
Just to reiterate, she has no business keeping his property in her pocket. That is a seizure. And I don't know how familiar you are with the Fourth Amendment. I don't know how familiar she is with the Fourth Amendment, but no warrant shall issue but upon probable cause, specifically describing the places to be searched and the persons or things to be seized. She has no warrant and no reason and no probable cause to keep that piece of property in her pocket at all. Zero.
I let him come into the courtroom. He sat there the whole time, behaved himself, and then he comes up at the end, wanting that warrant for the unlawful tint on the windows for the police officers.
Here, this is the backstory.
Yeah.
He said something about being up there to swear out a warrant, but I didn't.
But the warrant's about, it's like y'all's, like his car, the window tint's too dark on the sides, and he's going to get a private warrant for that. And what I explained.
How do you arrest the whole city?
Well, but it's none of his business to start with. It ain't his job. So I told him, we don't issue those here, sir, it's time for you to leave. You need to leave before you go to jail. And he goes out and he sits like across that parking lot from the courthouse up here, you see there. He sits there and he's waiting on me to come out and get in my truck. Because that's a very narrow place where the courtroom's up there. And he's sitting there and I told him, I'm not going to go outside and get in my truck with him sitting over there watching. I told him, I'll go over there and he needs to leave. He won't roll his window down. He said, I'm not going to go. He sits over there.
So the judge gives the cop an unlawful order to have a member of the public trespassed from a public location. And that's why Kyle walked out there and put a sign in the back of his truck holding a sign saying, John M. Rollins is a thug who does not know the law, State versus Hannipol, which says that trespass law is not for public property and you can't trespass a member of the public where the public has the right to be. That's what that law is.
10 minutes or so, and meanwhile I'm talking to the sled.
Yeah.
And they said, "Who is it?" "Oh, we know who that is."
Yeah.
And they go through all that stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, that son of a gun, get up here. Like I said, I'm not going to die by some damn Freeman that's going on. And I'm not fussing at you, but I mean, it's
Them damn Freeman's peoples. So this is L. Jaws. We're going to go. There's a second half to this video where we listen to the judge lie through his teeth on body cam as the cops are interviewing him. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put L. Jaws here. I'm going to tell you what, he has 174 subscribers. Let's see how many he's got now. 185. Let's see if we can get him up to 300 subscribers before the end of the show. Here is the second video. This is the second installment that springs off of the last one that we just saw.
Previously on Shields of Shame. In a
By the way, Shields of Shame does a tremendous job putting these videos together, compiling the evidence, and organizing it all.
Turn of events, Judge John Rollins of Greer, South Carolina, found himself in a contentious encounter with a peaceful protester. Brandishing a firearm, Judge Rollins confronted the protester, who was peacefully exercising their right to free speech by holding a sign critical of the judge. The scene unfolded as the protesters stood atop their pickup truck, stationed on a public road within a public parking space just 40 yards from the judge's auxiliary business. Clearly unsettled by the protesters' actions, Judge Rollins resorted to taking matters into his own hands, sparking widespread controversy and raising serious questions about the boundaries of judicial conduct. The officers on scene protected the judge and arrested the protester, briefly placing him in.
Now, a lot of people are asking L. Jaws if he's got a civil rights lawyer, and he just responded in the chat, "I can't find a lawyer to sue him because he's in so many courtrooms. They're afraid it will affect the outcome of the other cases."
In handcuffs while they investigate him, not the judge and his criminal actions. Please like and share to bring awareness to this kind of corruption. And as always, please let me know what you think in the comments.
Hat tip to Erie County. Auditing Erie County's in the house. If you haven't subscribed to Auditing Erie County, specifically watch the last 2 videos that he uploaded. Really, really interesting stuff. Thanks for being here, Dan.
Below. Thank you, and always record your interactions with any public servant. It is your First Amendment right.
Good guy activism is in the house. What's up, good guy?
just stay put. I'm just telling you.
Where were you? He told me if I moved, he was gonna shoot me. Okay. I was standing right there at that corner, holding my sign.
Okay.
Okay.
At what point was your phone on?
My phone was on the whole time.
But I won't. I hadn't pulled any gun. I hadn't done anything.
It doesn't matter what the law says. People do what they want to, right? Right.
He's getting out of that truck and there's that gun. I don't know what he's going to do. He's just sitting there, he baked me, and I'm getting agitated. Johnston's talking like he just happened to be, somebody's walked up and pulled a gun on him.
Guys, I just want to take a second. We are all a community, and we really all need to pull together. There's some really, really good people with some really good channels in the room. I want to call out Hendry, Auditing Erie County, like we just said, Good Guy Activism, John Eagle. Appreciate you guys being here. If you're not familiar with their channels, and even if they are, make sure that you go to their channels and that you are still subscribed, because a big problem with the YouTube platform is that subscribers are being unsubscribed from the channels that they want to be subscribed to. And the bell notification icon obviously is also being unpushed. So make sure you got the bell notification for all those channels as well.
Johnston's talking like he just happened to be, somebody that walked up and pulled a gun on him.
Sure. That man pointed a gun at my head.
I said, you let me see both your hands, Hot Rod. So I grabbed him right there and tried to pull him off the trunk. Well, he didn't pull, so I just pulled him to the corner there.
If there was fear involved.
I thought he was going to kill me. I thought I was dead. He had that gun pointed at my head. He had his finger on the trigger, and he was shaking.
Fear involved.
Trying to calm the guy down because he was just irate.
Oh, did I mention Hendry? Hendry's here too.
And, I don't know the situation. I don't know if they know each other or what, but he was freaking out. And I was confused because, yeah, he's got a gun, but he hasn't threatened you. He didn't pull out his gun. You're the one with your gun out. He hadn't done anything.
What I'm going to do is invoke the cancel doctrine, and I'm going to drop this son of a in the yard. Drop this son.
Wait a second. Who just said that? Who said that?
You're the one with your gun out. You know, he hadn't done anything.
What I'm going to do is invoke the cancel doctrine.
I didn't catch who said that. Was that Kyle or was that somebody else?
I'm going to drop this son of a in the yard. Drop this son of a, drop this son of a, drop this son of a.
It's about as clear a threat as you're ever going to get.
Despite what the corrupt judge said in the previous video, Mr. Joslin has no prior criminal record and is clearly being targeted by the judge and his minions.
Clerk at Landrum sent me, he called today about 2:45. I wanted to know when the next court date was, and the caller ID was Trey Joslin.
Okay.
I don't know who made this, but I like simple stuff. Let me just show you something. I'm going to highlight something here. I love this. I don't know who made this little thing right here, but this pretty much says it all. The reason the judge pulled a firearm is because a man who's an American was exercising his American right to express his freedom of speech and his grievance against his government who doesn't follow their own law. You can't really get more ironic than that. That is a grave irony. Steve Harola gives 5 Here's the Deal memberships. I appreciate that, Steve.
And then while I was up there, I was getting my reports and stuff because I'm going to marry.
Listen closely. Listen closely to this judge. Listen closely.
Done with the reports here because I'm going to get a harassment order. This is, he asked for the tape from the court last Wednesday, which is fine. I just brought that showing the dates and stuff, and they're getting that for him. They didn't give it to him right then because they got to cut it up, you know, cut it and all that stuff.
It takes time.
So, and he gave him a bunch. He gave him a bunch of lip at the window enough where the chief came up and was taping him.
Yeah.
Just that mouth running, and he left after that. The next day, he's down here in front of the office. Like I said, I didn't know he's out in front of the office. Did you see him?
I had seen him. Yeah, I'd seen him
on that day. Well, I didn't know because we used the back door, so there wasn't any reason me to go looking for anything.
Sure.
And the next day, of course, is when the incident happened.
Okay, so start with me from the beginning of that because I know you probably told that story till you're sick in the face, and you know.
Well, let me lead up what led up to it.
I think I'll catch the rest of that afterward.
Okay.
But let's just hit today.
And to start with, I don't know this fella. I've never had him before me in court other than that Wednesday when I told him to leave.
Sure.
And then, so I don't know. It's not like I sent him to jail or something.
Yeah.
Or we'd have any animosity to me to start with. So I don't know what all this is about.
Morning, Judge.
Well, I'll tell you what it's about, Judge. It's about freedom versus tyranny. Which side are you on? Inquiring minds want to know.
Do you have a ticket, sir?
No, sir. I would like to swear
Well, you don't, sir, we don't swear out warrants here. This is a courtroom. If you need a warrant, you need to talk to the police about swearing out a warrant.
It says I can ask a municipal judge.
No, sir, I don't investigate cases.
Well, I'm just swearing out a warrant.
I'm not swearing out any warrants. I don't investigate cases. I'm holding court here today.
Okay. Well, the municipal judicial handbook states that a citizen can swear out a warrant to a municipal judge.
Sir, I'm not arguing with you. We're not swearing out any warrants.
Okay. So who did you say I need to do it to?
I don't know. I'm not doing it here.
Okay.
All right, have a good day.
All right. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Is this hearing recorded?
Sir, let me explain something to you. I don't know why you're here, don't care why you're here, but you're not going to disrupt my court. So my suggestion to you is to leave, and if you don't leave now, you're going to jail.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. Have a good day.
Good.
There you go. And that was it. That was the end of it.
So when we get up there that day, though, I've already read the thing.
That's when Kyle goes out into the parking lot, sits in his truck. The judge tells the cop to go out and confront Kyle and tell him that he's going to be trespassed from public property. Kyle says, you can't do that under this law, this Supreme Court law called State versus Hannipol. That's a South Carolina Supreme Court ruling that you can't trespass somebody on public property who's a member of the public where the public has a right to be. And that's what brings us to this point.
The bolo thing. They put me at Landrum because the chief and them thought I needed to know because he's going to be coming up there.
Mm-hmm.
And then when we told him to leave, he left, but he sat where I could see him, and he could see him. He could see me sitting on the bench from where he was at outside
in the
courtroom. Mm-hmm. Well, I don't know if you've been up to Landrum, but what they've got, they got the building, and then there's a space, and maybe where you can pull in parking, and then there's a little street, and then and by a little street, I'm talking about that ain't really 2 lanes.
The 1 lane kind of.
And then there's the main parking lot over there. That's the city parking lot, and he's about 2 parking places into that, with his truck facing this way, where the driver's seat is looking in that door, where I'm at.
Okay, so was he in the truck or?
Well, when he left, he went and got in the truck, and we were finishing up some stuff. So I figured he'd get on his phone or do something and then leave. Well, we were in there getting our stuff together about 15, 20 minutes, and he's still sitting there. And I'm not going to leave my truck sitting out there too. So I'm not going to just go out there and watch him follow me home because he didn't follow the highway patrolman home.
Yeah, did they give you that the same day?
By the way, the following the highway patrolman, from what I understand from Kyle, he watched the cop, the patrolman, break multiple traffic laws that he would have given all of us a ticket for, and followed him till he stopped. The patrolman just so happened to stop at the patrolman's house, and then Kyle confronted him. The officer went inside his house, and Kyle went ahead and made the complaint, which put the target on his back for SLED. Kyle, if I got that right, let me know. If I got it wrong, let me know. L. Jaws says he sounds like a child. I wasn't even paying attention to him. I was on my phone.
Is he made that the SLED Fusion Center pamphlet or whatever with his face on it and stuff?
They gave me that morning.
Let's just read this. Jocelyn has a history of approaching and following Spartanburg County Sheriff's Office deputies, recently following. What's wrong with that? They follow us all the time. They run our tags, our licenses. They pull us over and they harass us all the time. So they can do that to us, but we can't do that to them. And the implication here is he's a bad man. He's following deputies. Recently, Jocelyn followed a South Carolina Highway Patrol trooper to his house, got out of his Ford F-150, pictured it right, and requested the trooper's information so he could file a complaint. During his interaction with law enforcement, Jocelyn is verbally confrontational and records the interaction with his cell phone. And then it's got this: Jocelyn has a valid CWP and has been known to open carry. There are currently there is literally, what is this, worthless propaganda made by, this is I think this is from Shields of Shame. I think they added that right there. But what's on this Shield dossier, as the judge calls it, there's no crime. There's no criminal activity at all. But they're going to put this out as though he's a criminal? This is how they work, guys.
When they knew he was coming.
When he knew he was coming to court, yeah, they gave it to me that morning.
How'd they know he was coming to court?
He told me.
Oh, okay. L. Jaws says that's a lie. I have it on video. I never got out of my truck. Yeah, right here it says got out of his truck. Nothing that the government says with regard to information on you is going to be true. And if they do use the truth, it's going to be so they can spin it and create a deceptive scenario to paint you as the worst character they can possibly portray you as.
He'd probably come into court.
Okay, so he called ahead.
Well, not so much called ahead, but they dealt with him, and he said he was going. He told him something. He's going to come get the judge to get a warrant, kind of thing. Okay. And I'm only up there one day a month. And I'm only up there one day a month. So that would be the day I'd be up there.
Sure.
And that very morning too, they done found him sitting out in front of the chief's house, scoping his house out. Mm-hmm. So we knew something was going on.
Sure.
So, but as long as he could behave, he's public. He didn't have no business being up there because he didn't have a ticket or nothing.
Yeah.
But he came in and we're holding. He comes in and he's dickering with Levi Beaucamp up there about taking his phone. Mm-hmm. Levi told me you leave your phone in the car, and he's getting with me. I don't have to leave my phone in the car. I said, "Sir, is there a problem?" He said, "He's wanting my phone." I said, "You take your phone, put it in the truck, or you stay outside with it." Mm-hmm. We're holding court. And he went on out.
There's so much corruption, man. Potential First Amendment violation in South Carolina. The Supreme Court has issued an order regulating the use of electronic devices, including cameras in courthouses. While electronic devices are permitted in commons areas with restrictions, their use in courtrooms is limited to specific purposes with permission from the judge. Every courtroom, in my opinion, let me know if you think I'm wrong, but every courtroom should allow, well, I hate the word allow or permit or anything like that, as though they're the overlords. You should be free to record in any courtroom. I don't care if it's federal. I don't care if it's state. I don't care if it's some kind of local court. You should be allowed to record because the camera doesn't lie. The only reason that they wouldn't want you to record in a courtroom is that they're not interested in any level of transparency. They want to be able to retain the right and maintain the right to lie. And only under certain circumstances will they let the cameras in.
Outside and put it up, and he'd come back in. When he come back in, he'd be quiet, didn't do anything, and he sat back at the back, just watched. He had his hand in the lap and just watched.
Okay.
And he was fine. Like I said, there was nothing to that. Then he come up and wanted to have him warrants issued. I told him, sir, we don't issue private warrants in the municipal court.
L. Jaws says at the beginning of the court, he said everyone needed to turn their cell phones off or put them on silent. When I walked in, he said that I had to leave my cell phone in the truck.
What is that for? What were the warrants for?
He was wanting warrants against the officers there in town because they had dark windows.
The window town? Okay.
Just crazy stuff, you know. And I wasn't gonna get into it with him. That's why I told him you just need to leave. Mm-hmm. And because I knew what he'd been doing with everybody else, you just need to leave. And I running him out. Well, you Supreme Court this and I said, sir, you need to leave before you go to jail.
So he's referencing a Supreme Court case?
Decision. And I said, you just need to leave before you go to jail. And that's when he went out there and he didn't leave.
Was he causing a disturbance in the court?
In the courtroom, wasn't.
Okay, for you to be able to, for you to, I guess, not really, for you to threaten him with jail.
You know, what you have to do on the contempt is you have to tell him, you know, you're getting disruptive. You need to cool it.
So he was actively disrupting court at that point.
And then when I told him, and there wasn't no reason for him to be there, so I'm not going to. We don't have questions from the audience, you know. So it's time for you to go.
Sure.
And he didn't, and he's sitting out there playing creep games like he's doing with the highway patrolman, and all it was in that letter.
Okay.
And then and going to follow me home. He didn't found out where the chief lived. Mm-hmm. And he's going to follow me home and see where I'm working or whatever, and I wasn't going to have that.
Yeah.
I'm that's dangerous. You know, I'm not playing that game. And then so.
Oh, this guy.
That's that. And I called SLED and told them, and they said, well, he's building a file and all this stuff on him. And I talked with the solicitor then. And
solicitor
Barry Barnett.
Spartanburg.
Okay. And then I went on the grid. I went down 14 to grid, and I didn't see him, so I was fine. Got the grid doing my stuff. And so I called. That was that Wednesday. I called about Thursday or Friday. I talked with the chief, anything going on.
Kyle says in the chat room, I waited till all businesses had concluded. The clerk asked me to come up, and there wasn't a single person left in the courtroom except for the bailiff, the judge, and the clerk.
It's cooled off. Or whatever. So I'm not looking for him. I figured he got mad and went on home.
Got what he wanted.
Yeah, and I didn't do anything other than tell him to leave. Mm-hmm. And I didn't want to escalate it any more than have to, but you got to be firm with somebody like that. He'll just keep talking that crazy talk in the courtroom. So
gee, I don't know who else would be talking that crazy talk. Do you know anybody, Judge?
So Monday came along. I went to Union, come to the office. I did my stuff, all that. Tuesday, same thing. Wednesday, we're there all day Wednesday, so we get there probably 7:30, 8 o'clock. Me and my wife, we park in that big back parking lot.
Yeah,
and we just come in the back. And we drive together on it. Mm-hmm. And lunchtime, I went out for lunch to get us something at the Empanada Shack, and I went out the back door and walked up, not Randall Street, but walked up the back alleyway and jumped over and went that way because that's quicker. And came back in and we ate. We had clients come in that day. Nobody said nothing about the placard, but I don't know how long he was out there with it because, like I said, I don't know nothing about it.
Sure.
And then so the next day would have been Thursday. I come from Union Court, and Union Court that day, I come up 101 from Woodruff, and I come in and I turn on Snow Street
to come over to 14.
Well, That's not Snow Street. The one there where the little shop is off 101.
I'm gonna speed this
right there
up a
before you
little
get to the Victor Ball Field. What street's that?
Talking about Cannon?
Yeah, well,
right next to the gas station.
Yeah, there's a little gas station, the barber shop there. Is that Cannon? Turn left there, and I come in there, and then I turn on where Cannon's drive-in is, and then take that School Street thing up. And I went across School Street, and I kind of looked to see if there's any parking, but I normally park in the back, so I was going to park in the back.
Come
When
on.
you get there, sometimes you park in the back. So I go to the alleyway to park in the back. Them boys have opened that new appliance store there, so they had their truck parked there.
When somebody talks this much, it makes me think they're probably lying. They're probably lying.
Everything up, so I said, shoot, so I backed up, turned around, and there was a parking place in the corner parking lot. So I parked there sometimes too. So I just parked there and I backed my truck in and put my blinds up and everything. And I had
oh my God, he's got every single freaking detail. Yeah, look at this. Incredible how good his memory is, remembering food containers and such.
on the way back. So
But he can't remember that he wasn't pinned against the wall.
An Arby's bag, and I had an Arby's cup. I had my little gray jacket I had on when you saw
My
me. I had it on,
God.
and I stuck my water bottle in my pocket. And so I got this hand free. And so I'm walking up the street, and at that time of day, the sun's awful.
Okay.
And I've got bad eyes anyway, and the sun's awful, so these lights have turned dark. So I'm walking, and I'm not paying any attention, but I see a fella in the back of a truck there, and at the bike store, that's not unusual at the bike store because they unload bikes and stuff, all that too. So I'm not looking for him because it cool, it cool down. So as I get right, I'm walking down the sidewalk, it ain't that wide. So I get right where that truck bed is, and he's like down like this, and I don't know who he is or paying much attention to him. And right as I get to the side of him, I hear, "You wasn't something like you weren't expected to see me here, were you, Judge?" And I stop because I don't know where he is at that point. So it's like a voice. And I turned, and I see who it is. I said, "Mr. Jocelyn." No, I didn't. And like that's the wall. And so he could touch me when I'm standing right then. Sure. And he's right up at the edge of the thing. And he had that placard kind of holding it, talking. And I wasn't paying long. I could see he was holding something. So I
There's
just stepped
the
back to the wall.
sign.
And I said, "No, I wasn't." And I said,
"Did you remember what he was saying as he was talking, or
well, just like you wasn't expected to see me, were you? Kind of just a smart ass kind of thing." And so I said, "No, I wasn't." So I'm gonna get a picture of you, and I'm gonna dial 911 because I'm more or less trapped there then because I can't. That thing, they've been dealing with this asshole since about June. Well,
911, calling an emergency services number because a guy in a public parking space has a sign in the back of his truck. Gonna call emergency services.
by that time, I'm as close from me to you there, so I just back up against the wall, and I'm sitting there waiting for him to do it. I said, "You just sit right there and keep your hands where I can see him." I don't know what he's up to.
Backed up against the wall.
And so I'm up against the wall. And
This guy's freaking lying. He's lying on camera. Can't you get in trouble for that? Can't you get in trouble for... What if you lied to a cop during an investigation? What would happen to you? RJ says judges have far too much power. We don't need bench trials any longer. Only juries should determine fates of citizens.
You can't see these things out there with that bright light and stuff. So I'm fumbling around with it and finally get the camera come on and I do that. And then I finally fumble it and get 911 and I call Greer and I tell him who I am. And this fella's out here jostling that they got like a sled file on. And he's threatened me and all this stuff. And
A sled file for no freaking reason. For not only not committing crimes, but actually trying to hold cops to their own traffic code.
Here, y'all need to send somebody out here.
Okay.
And they got all that on your tape, the exact words.
And what I'm going to do is invoke the cancel doctrine, and I'm going to drop this son of a bitch in the yard.
But I'm pretty shook up because I'm stuck. And I can't, I don't want to walk down the street. I don't want to run. I'm just there. As long as I see his hands, I ain't real concerned about it. He's holding that placard.
Why don't you want to walk down the street?
Because I'm stuck. I'm not going to let somebody shoot me in the back of the head. I don't know what he's up to.
Okay.
I don't know what he's up to. I mean, I'm safer with my back to the wall than me walking down the street with him to my back.
Okay.
I'm safer with my back to the wall, which, by the way, I never put my back up against the wall.
I mean, because my intentions was to call y'all. I'm going to stand there till y'all got there. Y'all handle
But I can tell you my Arby's bag, the color of my shirt, what kind of jacket I had on, what I had for lunch, that I put the blinds up in the truck before I walked away and parked it.
And I'm going to my office. And I can get a report that he's out there screwing around in front of my office. That was my intention. Okay.
Screwing around.
Him standing there ain't nothing. That's a public street. Yeah. And he knows that. And the sign don't bother me. I don't even know what the sign said till I opened it and showed y'all and read it. I mean, 'cause I'm not focused on what the words are. I'm focused because he's known to be armed. And I don't see nothing as long as I see his hand. It don't really make much difference. Yeah. So I called y'all and I figure y'all be there in a minute. So I just might bide my time long he's standing in the back of that trunk. Ain't nobody gonna do nothing.
Yeah.
I'm safe. And so I'm sitting there waiting on y'all. And I called a lady on the 911 and
King Braveheart is popping aspirins because of this guy. Anybody else in the same boat?
I explained to her, and I was pretty agitated when I talked to her because I don't know what he's up to. And I'm by myself. I'm an old man by myself. So I called her, and instead of her saying, "They'll be right there," she said, "There's something going on. It'll be a minute. They may be a while before they get there." Yeah. Well, that ain't a good answer for me.
That ain't a real good answer at all for me. So now what? So I'm telling him, just keep, they'll be here in a minute. You just keep showing me your hands. We're fine. And I'm just sitting there like this against the wall. And he's taping me at that point. He got his phone out somehow or another. And he's taping me. So I'm just sitting there, just keep showing me your hands. Just keep showing me your hands. Well, he's still holding that thing and holding the phone, so I ain't real excited about all that. Mm-hmm. Well, at some point, he puts the sign down or he lays it. So I'm here, the edge of the truck would be there.
Uh-huh.
And he started moving around in the truck now. And I don't know if he's trying to leave, trying to get me, shoot me, or what. Because if he got on the other side of that truck, he could have got me real easy. Mm-hmm. And there I'd be. I'm in open then.
Yeah.
And if he walked around on the ground, he's got me.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, that's a young fella. He's a big old, strong-looking fella too. So I mean, it's changing now that he's getting out of that truck. The situation changed. As long as he's in that truck and I see his hands, I ain't worried about it. Mm-hmm. So and y'all supposed to be there in a few minutes. You know, and I'm hoping. I don't know what's going on. She just said there's something else going on. So I don't mean that we'll see you tomorrow or what. Mm-hmm. But I was trying to emphasize to her, this fella's been threatening everybody. Here I am. He slipped up on me because, like I said, had I seen him, I'd turn around with him.
Look at that. Look at that. He's threatening everybody, but can't name a single person or statement anyone has made. Yeah, I wonder that too. I wonder how many people are in prison because of this corrupt judge. I wonder how many, everybody in America should be asking, we got to popularize this judge. We got to say his name loud and we got to say it often. Judge John M. Rollins from Greer, South Carolina has got to become the most popular judge because how many people has he lied about and put in prison? If he's willing to lie to a cop on camera, then how could you ever believe that he's not lying behind a bench where he doesn't allow cameras?
Well, but I didn't.
This makes me mad, man.
I'm blind to him till I get right beside him. He's there, and he says, "You went."
L. Jaw says, "I have never threatened anyone. It is a 5-year prison sentence to threaten a public official in South Carolina." This is, this is beyond, if you can even be beyond stifling and trampling individual rights. This is defamation. He's threatening everybody when that's not true. And he's threatening everybody in the context of carrying a gun on his side. He's threatening a public official, which is the implication of threatening everybody. This is defamation, guys. He's defaming Kyle. Clearly. Wait till guys, hold on to the end of the video. You think you're mad now? Hope you have a pressure release valve.
So I'm surprised. So I back up, and as long as everything's fine, so he starts monkeying around, and he turns and starts to step over the side of the truck. He didn't go to the gate where the steps are. He goes to the side of the truck, and it's it's too high for him to just hop off, So he gets his leg over, kind of, and when I see that, there's that pistol, and I'm thinking this ain't good at all. So I go grab him, and I was going to pitch him on the ground because he wasn't going to come out and fight me.
Yeah.
And I was going to pitch him on the ground, and when I started to grab him and pitch him, he pulled back, and when he did, he kind of turned this way, and I grabbed his gun hand. And I grabbed it. When I did, I pulled him down.
This judge is confessing to multiple crimes: aggravated assault, false imprisonment, multiple civil rights were also violated, and defamation. Don't forget about defamation. Keep defamation in there. Yeah, this reminds me of Wayne's World. Wayne's World, Wayne's World. Right now we're in Rollins World. Rollins World. Give it a whirl.
Squatted down, and he hit his head or whatever on that tailgate. And I had that gun hand, and I had a death grip on it, and I pulled my gun. That's why I put the gun to his head, and I said, "Use freeze, or I'll kill you," or whatever. I don't know what I said, but it was real bad then.
Something along those lines?
Yeah. I'm going to give you ice or whatever. I may have said something real ugly. I don't know. Okay. But that ain't, at that point, I'm by myself with an armed man that he'd come to my office to do whatever he's going to do. And as long as I had his gun hand, we were good. And with that gun to his head, he wasn't fighting.
Okay.
He bowed up, but I mean, if he pulled out, he probably got shot. I mean, I'll tell you that.
Sure.
Because
it leads to your mindset.
Yeah. Because I mean, I'm just sitting there and let him pull his and blow me away. I mean, it got crazy, but he had sense enough that once he got that, he froze. And as long as he did that, we're good. Because hopefully y'all are on your way. And then about that time, he's hollering, "Help me, somebody!" Something. He's hollering around. I'm telling you, be still, and be, to please be here or whatever. And this fella walks up. That was the witness. I don't know if he saw anything that happened before that. All he sees is an old man robbing.
I'm telling you. This has to get in the hands of as many people as possible, because anybody who's ever sat in front of this judge at a courtroom and had a ruling against them or for them, it doesn't matter, but especially against them, needs to really, really listen up. Man, the amount of people this guy has probably put behind bars as he lies and tries to, peddle his BS across the bench. Jeez, this is so concerning.
Somebody or something, as far as I know. And he's there, and I'm telling him, call the law. Call the law. He said, take that gun away from that man's head. No, I mean, he's more worried about him than me. Sure. And I tell him, I'm a judge, and this fella's been threatening me, or whatever. I'm trying to explain to him. I'm not just somebody off the street, that's robbing somebody. Call the law. Call the law. He said, take that gun away from that man's head. No, I mean, he's more worried about him than me. Sure. And I tell him, I'm a judge, and this fella's been threatening.
I'm a judge, and this fella has been threatening me or whatever. Oh, my God, man. These false accusations? Gee, this is an ironclad case.
Or whatever, I'm trying to explain to him. I'm not just somebody off the street, that's robbing somebody. Call the law. Let's get here. And he finally, I think, called the law. And by then, y'all we're there a little bit longer. He's running his mouth to him. See what he's doing to me, all this kind of stuff. And then and the phone is on the ground. He didn't have it anymore. When I grabbed his hand, I think it come out of it and it's down on the ground because I picked it up off the ground when y'all got there. Okay. And so all that's going on, I'm holding him, and the police come up, and y'all stand back because y'all don't know what's going on either. Yeah, sure. I understand. And I'm hollering at her, I've got him. Somebody come up here because I didn't want him to let go of him, come off on me, Yeah. And so when y'all got it all started, we broke it up.
Okay. Which hand did you grab? Do you remember?
I'm thinking it was his gun hand.
Okay.
So I had that. So he's laying in like that, and I've got this pulled this way, and his head's up on the tailgate. Okay. I may have had his left hand. I don't know.
Okay. One of them.
But I had a hand.
Okay.
and if I had his left hand, he could have reached back and got his pistol. But I don't ever remember him doing it. So I'm thinking it was his. I can say it was on the way back. So I had a garbage bag and I had a garbage cup. I had a water bottle. I had on me something. And a water bottle in my pocket. So it wasn't like he reached over to grab my hand.
Yeah. He submitted it.
Yeah. Okay. Once my pistol came out, he submitted, and I did.
Shields of Shame is adding all this other, all these graphics in here. It's hilarious.
No more than what I needed to do. Okay. To hold him there. Y'all got there. Y'all on your way.
Sure. Did you hear? What was he saying when you moved to the rear?
I'm going to speed it up a little bit more.
I don't know if he said anything.
You didn't hear anything?
I didn't hear anything.
I got it at
I don't know.
I got it at 1.75, just so we can speed through this. You got to wait till the end.
If he could have, I don't know.
You didn't hear anything?
I didn't hear anything. If he said anything, I've got hearing aids, so I don't know.
It'd be on that tape, I would imagine.
Did you hear anything? You said he was jawjacking with the guy that came walking up. He was talking to him. Do you remember?
More like, you see what he's doing to me? And he said, I've got 7 kids and all that. And I may have said you should have thought of that. Something. Like I said, I'm just keeping him focused on the situation. And the fella, he's talking to him more like, you need to see what he's doing. Like he's calling his attention to me.
Kyle says in the room, he also admitted earlier when the police were talking to him that I never reached for my firearm.
Mm-hmm. More than him putting himself in that situation.
Okay. What was your mindset during this?
I thought something was going to happen bad because y'all weren't there. I mean, under normal things, I figured y'all would be there to go minutes because the police station's right there, But with him, because had he never moved out of that, it would never escalated if he never moved out of that bed because I could see his hands.
Okay.
And I would have been, when y'all pulled up, I'd been laying up against the building.
Sure. Do you remember talking about the castle doctrine to the 911 operator?
I may have said something to it. I mean, I'm out there. I'm being threatened.
Okay.
I'm being threatened.
That's the third time. The first time was an implication. He's threatening everybody. That's the third time he said that Kyle threatened him. If a guy with the gun is threatening you, he's threatening a public official, he could get into some freaking serious trouble if somebody took this guy seriously. You can't just drop a case like this. Man, this is so freaking serious. Kyle says in the chat room, it's funny. The police never asked me what my mindset was when Rollins was holding a gun to my head, threatening to kill me.
But I'm going to invoke the castle doctrine and lay this son of a bitch out in the yard.
Well, and I may have said that.
Okay.
I may have said that because I don't know why he's there. Mm-hmm. I'm trying to emphasize to her if she tells me it might be a while. I can't wait on y'all. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. So it's the severity of the situation.
Yeah, I can't wait on y'all. I mean, it's not like, yes, sir, we'll send them to be on their own way kind of thing. She told me it'd be a while.
Yeah, we didn't have...
Well, I know that ain't y'all's fault. But
we were all running from...
I understand it, and that's not y'all's fault, but that put me in a bad situation.
Sure.
That ain't what you want to hear when you call 911. You got somebody that's been stalking you. We'll get there when we can. And I don't fault y'all for that, but that didn't help.
But that's the reality.
Yeah, that didn't help. Because I'm sitting there thinking then, they come in a minute, they come in 20, and I've called them at my office 911. It wasn't no super emergency. Yeah. But instead of them being there in about 5 minutes, it may be 10 minutes. Mm-hmm. And I don't know how long with that situation. I don't know how long that's going to last. That ain't good.
Okay. So the prior situations with Jocelyn that you're aware of, who made you aware of those?
Of other people's situation with
of what you were telling me something about Highway Patrol Trooper.
That's on that thing from the sleep.
Okay, you're telling me about Lyman PD Police Chief?
Landrum PD. Sure. They told me that morning.
Okay, so they told
me. Yeah, they told me that morning because they gave me a heads up about him coming because of the daycare thing. Because we were coming to court. We had court. That was our monthly court. This we're in October. So that was October's court date. We do 1 day a month in Landrum. Okay. They gave me a heads up that he may be in court
because of the daycare.
Because of the daycare thing.
And what was the daycare issue, if you recall?
they told me that they had like they were doing a special event, or it was the evening when they do their thing, and they got like maybe an off-duty county officer that does, just watching security kind of thing. And this fellow rolls up, his children are there, and he rolls up and he's like stretching and pulling his coat up. He's got a gun there and he's on the premises. And that makes somebody uncomfortable. And they mentioned it to the officer. He couldn't do that because he just auxiliary or whatever. Yeah. So they called Landrum PD. It's in the city. They called Landrum PD, and Officer Wise went out there and he told everybody put it in your car. And he complied. But then he got sideways with Wise, and then they, that morning, Wise's car had the 10 on it. That's what he was fussing about the 10. And then they told me about that because he said he was going to come to court and see something about the judge or something. And so I knew he was coming at that point. Then that morning while we were at court, they said they found him that morning outside the chief's house.
Okay.
So it's just I don't know what's the matter.
Yeah.
But what I've got in front of me, I've got a bolo from SLED that goes back to July or June when it was. And then I've got them saying we're dealing with him with this stuff. And then
I just put a poll in the room. Who thinks that this judge should be tried for defamation? Because this guys, this is serious. People take the word of law enforcers seriously. They take the words of judges seriously. As a matter of fact, if a judge or a law enforcer says something and it's a lie and you say something that's true, they're going to go with the judge or the law enforcer. This judge's words could put an innocent man with 7 children, wife and 7 children, behind bars simply for lying against him that he's making a threat against a public official. Unconscionable.
I got this thing saying he's in front of the chief's house when ain't no reason to be in front. He wasn't charged with nothing. He wasn't charged with nothing. Sure. And then he's coming to my court.
Okay. How did you hear about the trooper situation?
On that thing.
Okay.
That's on the boat.
Okay. Had you heard about any other incidents with him?
Not at that time.
Okay. When did you hear? You said you wanted me at least yesterday. You told me to speak with Barry Barnett. Did he make you aware of?
Oh, when the thing happened at the courthouse and he didn't leave, I called SLED and they put me with Drew Ledbetter. And he's like the Reese or whatever. And he told me that we know him and be careful with him. We'll put this down. He said, "Did contact the solicitor? They're working on a file thing with him." So I called Barry, and Barry told me what was going on with him. He'd been down there at the courthouse, monkeying around with everybody down there, and he's done everything, all his video stuff, and threatening people and stuff down there. And that was after he left the courthouse, and before what happened here.
Okay, so that was after the courthouse incident. You talked with Ledbetter from SLED, and then you talked to Barry Barnett, the solicitor.
And they informed me of the other stuff.
Okay. Do you remember any of that other stuff?
Just him worrying the magistrates and all down at Spartanburg.
Okay.
And then he's been following officers and stuff like that.
Okay.
And in addition to the highway patrol, he's been giving like the county people for fit.
Okay.
And then what Barry telling me is he's a dangerous thing. We got a big old file built on him. We're trying to figure out what to do with him as far as doing an injunction or whatever they needed to do with him.
So Barry described him as how?
It's dangerous. I mean, they're all dangerous, yeah.
Okay. But he described him specifically as dangerous?
Well, his description to me was dangerous.
You took his
Yeah, I mean, he didn't say this is I don't remember him saying this is a dangerous individual, but he could have, because they just, everything they did with him, it just keeps escalating.
Do you happen to remember the day, roughly, that you talked to Barry?
They've been that Wednesday.
That Wednesday, same day as the court day? Okay. All right, I do have, that's the report from Andrew. Okay.
Yeah, and I called him to let him know
about
that fellow. I didn't know, because I didn't know it was Adam, but they'd already presented with me. They had the bolo on him. And when I talked with Drew, the solicitor's got a file on him. They've been building a file on him, so that's why I called Barry.
So his behavior that day at Landrum made you feel how?
I was apprehensive of that.
Okay.
I'm going to close that poll at the 5-minute mark. It's at 2 minutes right now. So if you guys want to vote, who thinks this judge should be tried for defamation? He is going out of his way to defame Kyle, an innocent man, standing on his constitutional rights.
I don't know. Like I said, we deal with people up there, people get pissed off all the time, and they go home.
Yeah.
Here's this fella, ain't even got a case in the courtroom. And he's sitting out there looking at me through.
What we got so far is 141 votes, 98% yes, 2% say no.
The window in his truck. Yeah. And the police goes out there and tell him to move on. He says, "I ain't going nowhere." Okay. You see what I'm saying? Most reasonable people, yes, sir. And they go
I agree. You guys are saying that L. Jaws is in danger. He is in danger. He said I was dangerous, but then he doesn't remember if he said I was dangerous. Kyle and his family are in serious trouble. And the last thing that this judge and these cops want is for this to go hyper viral. We got to get this to, I'm a guppy in a large ocean, guys. We got to get this to Long Island Audit, Lackluster, Audit the Audit. This needs to go nationwide. The Young Turks, maybe they can. This guy, at the minimum, should have his job be removed from his job and his pension taken away, at the very least. And, he needs to be charged criminally, and he does need to do time in jail. That's the only just thing that I can see happening to this guy. But let's get to the end. We're going to get to the end.
Because they know they ain't going to visit being up there. But with him, he's sitting out there for the sole purpose of intimidating somebody.
Okay.
And putting them in fear. That's like I said, if he was just somebody that I'd never dealt with and I didn't know all this stuff, and he's just sitting there with that placard in, John Ronald Doug, whatever it said.
Yeah, all the big channels. James Freeman, SJVT, Lackluster. We need to get this out. I don't get any traction on my channel, guys. This ain't going to go anywhere on my channel. I'm just doing this because, hopefully some of you will get it out to the bigger channels.
Have a good day. I walked in my office, called y'all. Sure. And that'd been all of it.
Mm-hmm.
That'd been all of it. But this fella, and I know he's armed. Because even in the bolo it says he's armed all the time. And Barry was telling me that he's a CWP and trying to get something figured out where they can pull the darn thing.
And but you didn't see the weapon.
Wait a minute. He's retired now? Dang. Oh, that's right. I keep forgetting. This is like a year and a half ago. Is that true? L. Jaws, is he retired? Or is he still on the bench?
Until he come over the, he had like one of them little, not rain jacket, but like one of them little smooth, like you get at Costco and stuff, and he had it zipped up. And he's awful round like he had a flat. He may have had a Kevlar or something. He's awful round with it, like y'all are when you get your thing off. And it's right to the edge. And I already knew he'd carried it because the officer told me before that.
Okay.
And then when he's climbing over, with his head towards the door. So he's doing this number, and when he does, that thing comes up and it's there.
Okay. Did he reach for it at all?
He's all up on the side going for it.
Okay, so you lost sight of his hands.
Well, his hands were over on the other side, so I didn't see his hands. Okay. And I don't know if he's going to come off and draw or what, I don't know.
Okay, but you didn't see...
Hey, News Now Ninja's here. News Now says he is not retired.
No, I can't say he grabbed it.
Okay. Did he make any, other than what you perceive as threatening talk, did he make any direct threats to you during that time?
When he wasn't recorded. Because I don't think I surprised him as he surprised me.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? He's just going to be up there at lunchtime with that placard.
Yeah.
Up my office away from my recorder.
Didn't expect you to see you coming from the left when you're off.
Or maybe he didn't see me the first day.
Yeah.
And unless I had business going up that street, I wouldn't see him either. You know what I'm saying? So it's not like and he may have been baiting somebody for me to come out and I'll just go over, what the hell are you doing kind of thing.
Yeah.
I'd never done that. I told y'all.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and close the poll. There's 193 votes. 97% say yes, this judge should be tried, at least for defamation. Defamation is a separate issue. It's just as egregious because you can ruin a man's life for defamation, but also for criminally holding somebody at gunpoint who is doing nothing wrong. We know we would all go to jail for that. So I'm going to go ahead and end the poll right now.
And y'all would handle it. You know what I'm saying? But once he got me surprised that I'm there, and this fellow way he acts, I can't move because I don't know if I'm getting shot in the back of the head or what. I don't know. I don't know. So, but as far as threatening talk, the more sinister stuff he said was when I just walked up and he surprised me.
Okay.
And that's, you didn't expect to see me here, were you?
So it wasn't exactly what he said. How did you take that as sinister? Well, if you can kind of describe
it. It's like I've been you up today or another day. I'm here now.
Okay.
That kind of thing.
Sure.
And the bottom line is he didn't see me at Walmart.
Yeah.
If he'd been out on 29 with that car,
Yeah.
I'm coming in my office and he's 30, 40 feet from my door.
Okay.
And so and like I said, I'm in a situation then, I ain't gonna put myself in a position where I'm getting shot in the back. The easiest thing for me to do is just stand right there, call 911 and wait for y'all to come up here and handle it, and I'm going to my office.
Okay.
And I'm not exposing myself. Sure. As long as he stays in that trunk with that placard, I see your hand, we're fine, bud. But once he starts maneuvering around and stuff, I don't know what he's gonna do.
Did it cross your mind that maybe he was trying to create some distance from you or leave?
He wouldn't. I don't know what he's doing. He could come over the edge of that thing and drew that gun.
L. Jaws says he didn't say that either.
Drilled me right against that wall. He could come over that thing, y'all, like I said, y'all in there, and he could come off that side of that truck, walked around there and knocked the hell out of me. Yeah. And me, 61 years old, him about 30-something, a big old fella.
Because, legally, as far as the law is, he wasn't doing anything.
No, other than surprise me.
He's on a public street.
I understand it. And had I not known what I knew previous, like I said, if he's just somebody cold there, that's just for the officer to come up and make a report about it.
Okay.
But I know it's John Dillinger.
John Dillinger?
He's a gangster. I know he's been monkeying around with everybody.
John Dillinger?
No, I know he's a crook.
Okay, you're describing him as John Dillinger.
Yes, I know he's just somebody off the street.
Okay, so you were...
Is he describing Kyle as John Dillinger as a crook for wanting to hold his public servants accountable? Did he just do that? Did he just say that, L. Jaws? I was trying to leave because he threatened to kill me on the 911 call and I didn't want any altercation. Yeah, I think that's smart. I think it's wise. Especially when you have 8 mouths to feed at home, 7 kids and a wife. He just equated an innocent man standing on his constitutional rights to criminal John Dillinger. Wow. L. Jaws says, I've never been arrested or charged in my life. Wow, my God. Joker says he's such a storytelling, lying drama queen.
I think we've done divorces far to get up there.
I'm playing this again. News Now Ninja says this guy's father was a lawyer here as well, so his family has a long history in this town.
Got nasty stuff on Facebook. John Dillinger. That's just for the officer to come up
Here we go.
Okay.
Here comes the John Dillinger charge.
But I know it's John Dillinger.
John Dillinger?
He's a gangster. I know he's been monkeying around with everybody. John Dillinger? No, I know he's a crook.
Okay, you're describing him as John Dillinger.
Yes, I know he's just somebody off the street.
Okay, so you were familiar.
I've had people we've done divorces for to get up there. They write nasty stuff on Facebook. They'll see me on the street. They'll say all this stuff. And I know they ain't out there to harm nobody. They just get it off their chest.
But you took this as a different.
Well, when I worked in Landrum at the courthouse, you didn't come up to the courthouse again and do something. You go into to a computer and you find out where I work. And you're waiting down there when I come back from work, my work and surprise me. You wasn't expecting me to be here. What would that? And you knew all the background. Sure. You see what I'm saying? Because like I said, I don't go pulling guns on people. I don't look for nobody to do nothing like that. I'm a judge. I have to act a little different than people. But this son of a gun, he's looking for me. He's pushing buttons. And like I said, he pushed a button that day.
Okay.
He pushed a button that day. But he set up a situation where it's like, I ain't going nowhere. I'm going to follow you home kind of thing. And I'm going to do you just like I've been doing everybody else. And the thing with the police is they've got a radio. They can call.
I'm going to follow you home. Man, this guy is just pulling all the lies out of his freaking evil little pocket, man. Wow. I don't think I've seen a lot of these interrogation videos where people are just lying after lie after lie. This guy is on the top of the heap.
I'm out there by myself. And if I hadn't had a pistol, I don't know what I'd done.
So you were.
My gosh.
So during that whole encounter, how did you feel?
I was scared. I mean, that's some gun. Like I said, as long as he was standing in the back of that truck, there wasn't no issue.
So you weren't, mad or angry that maybe he followed you there?
I knew he didn't follow me there.
Or had showed up at your work.
What if somebody in his town I'll just deal with this later.
Well,
man,
if him being out there, if I'd known he was out there, that wouldn't have bothered me at all. What bothered me was the surprise of it.
Okay, sure.
That's like an ambush.
And with the rest of everything else.
Yeah, that's like an ambush. Not only I'm gonna screw you, I'm gonna ambush you. And like I said, had I seen the ambush, I wouldn't have gone to no turn ambush.
Ambush! My God, we got to. What we have to do is go through this video. Maybe I'll do it. I don't know. If I have time, I will. Oh my gosh, it's going to take a bunch of time though. But go through this video and just clip out all the defaming statements that he said, all the lies that can be demonstrated as lies. History Bear drops a super chat and says, perhaps the dishonorable judge is protecting his own shortcomings onto this, or projecting his own shortcomings onto this victim. I have no doubt that that's what's going on.
On somebody?
No, not ever.
Holy frick. This guy, I reserve the moniker Pond Scum for very few people. This guy is Pond Scum.
CWP. Long time.
Dang.
What did it say on?
It depends if I don't know if they changed the issue date when they were giving a new one.
This was 10/25/17. They last how long?
Usually.
Well, I've had one ever since I've been a judge.
How long have you been a judge?
24 years.
So you've had a concealed weapons permit for 24 years?
Or however long, I don't know if it went that far back, but whenever.
How long? Okay, so whenever concealed weapon permits came into effect, you got one. And you've had one since.
I've been a judge, like I said, I've been a judge since 90. I started at Lyman in 94.
News Now Ninja just dropped something from one of their sites. John Rollins site, and his father before him have been serving the legal needs of Greer in the upstate for over 60 years. Contact us today to experience representation with just a touch of Southern.
So what does that make it?
2024.
And if they had them then, I had one.
Yeah, so, I mean, if you're 94, 14 is 27 years, roughly? I'm not great.
Yeah, I'm not off the top of my head, but I've had one. I've had one whenever they came out.
Okay. So
and I was judging when they came out.
And you never drawn it on somebody. Okay.
No need to.
Okay.
Wouldn't been a need then. Somebody behaved themselves.
Okay.
And the thing, I've been in different places.
God, I can so see this guy in an orange jumpsuit. I can see it. He's begging for an orange jumpsuit, man. Oh my God.
For 10 years, and I was the magistrate at Landrum.
Flex goes to jail. Hendry goes to jail. They're threatening to put Press with Rancor in jail. Chili's in jail, but this guy's not in jail.
I was the magistrate at Landrum. I had my own office, which was there at the it's a storage facility place. The office was in it, and I was there by myself.
Yes, sir.
I had a constable, but he wasn't there all the time. So I'm armed in there.
Okay.
And I go to different places, and I'm armed at different places too, because I do like a circuit. I do Landrum, Union, Lyman, and Spartanburg.
Do you carry a gun with you every day? Okay.
Especially since all this happened, George Floyd stuff and all this.
Yeah, all
this. I used to maybe I had one in the car with me all the time, but I really started carrying in the last 2 or 3 years.
With some of the attitudes.
Well, it's just a lawlessness. I mean, around here's got crazy.
Okay.
Used to, like I said, I'm death penalty certified. I've done 2 death penalty trials. I was a contract public defender over in Greenville. I've handled
2 death penalty cases. This is the most frightening information about this judge yet. Well, Yes, I agree. It is frightening, but what he's trying to do to Kyle is just as frightening, because I'm thinking about Kyle, his 7 kids, his wife. Their lives are literally in jeopardy because psychopaths like this run that neck of the woods. If this is not the perfect example of power corrupts and absolute power corrupts absolutely, then there is no such example.
Rukins from Chicago cases, Noah Robinson, Jesse Jackson's brother, with Al Rukins and all that stuff.
Yeah, he did almost slip up with that George Floyd thing, L. Joss. You know, that George, I really started caring when that George Floyd thing started going on.
Yeah, but all in cases like that, I've never had anybody say anything to me at all. Mm-hmm. Nor did I fear about one of Al Rukins or just somebody I've dealt with on a case coming up to me on the street doing something. Okay. Because I try to deal with people, even in court, I try to deal with people where when they leave there, they may not like what they got, but they felt they was treated fairly. Okay. And that's the way I deal with people. This fella, I ain't never dealt with him, so I don't understand all this. Other than telling him to leave.
So I appreciate you coming in voluntarily and speaking with me, sir. I'll tell you, I spoke to Mr. Jocelyn earlier, just to kind of keep you up in front too, just because of the nature of this case and all the history behind it and everything. Just to be impartial, I'm going to complete a report and I will send it to the Greenville County Solicitor's Office for them to review.
When you charge him, why do you not believe?
Here we go. Okay. All right, here we go. I'm going to slow this down because you got to hear this. Hey, King Long, you don't need to say stuff like that, man. Of the comments that scroll by, try to keep up with hundreds of them. You have to cherry pick. You can't just look, you can't just like read everything. I just can't believe, Brian, if you only knew who I was, you would start respecting my comment. I'm not disrespecting anybody's comment. If I don't read your comment, I didn't disrespect it. I'm specifically looking for L-Jaw. L-Jaw is Kyle. Kyle is who this video is about. And when I see some other things, I'll read it, but I don't see everyone. So I'm not trying to show favoritism. I hate that I have to explain that, but my gosh, I can't. It's almost like verbal manipulation. I'm being manipulated. If you only knew who I was, if you only knew how important I was, well, guess what? Sounds like you're way more important than I am, because I'm just like one of you guys. That's all I am. I just got a YouTube channel. Who am I? Nobody. Come on, man. Come on, man. Come on.
After speaking with the solicitor's office and the city attorney.
Now listen, here we go. I got to slow this down. You got to hear this. You got to hear this. This will frickin' set you. If you're not burning up right now, if you're not smoldering and smoking right now, you are about to be set on fire. And I'm about to pour some gasoline on you. Listen to this.
Opinion was that there is not proof beyond a reasonable doubt.
Wait. I'm going back. Here we go. Here we go.
When you charge him, why do you not believe why do you think he didn't commit a crime?
After speaking with the solicitor's office and the city attorney, the opinion was that there is not proof beyond a reasonable doubt.
Of what?
Of being convicted of a crime, sir.
What crime, though?
It doesn't matter what crime, any crime.
There isn't proof beyond a reasonable doubt.
We got it on video, and we know that cameras never lie. We got the testimony of the lying judge, but there's not proof beyond a reasonable doubt that a crime's been committed by this guy. You gotta frickin' be kidding me. You gotta frickin' be kidding me.
So you have 3 witness statements?
I believe I have 2. Yes, sir.
And you have videos?
Yes.
And 911 calls where he's threatening to shoot me.
I know it's not what you wanted to hear.
Well, you gotta listen. In the police report, he says in the police report, he even says that I did not threaten him. I did not reach for my firearm. He had no justification to put a gun to my head.
He does say that you did not threaten him and he did not touch his firearm. Yes, sir, you're correct.
So what reason did he have to point a gun at my head?
Comes out of, I believe his statement was he was fearful, sir.
I believe his statement was that he was fearful. Okay, so that means any case that's presented before the judge where the person pulled out his weapon on an innocent person who did no wrong and is actually not only not doing wrong, but is actually doing right by exercising a constitutional right. Next time that happens in your community, judge, and somebody goes, "Oh, I was fearful," you're going to just let it go? No, you're not, because that's not how we do in society. People start pulling out guns because they said they were fearful. Oh, that's a legitimate excuse. Unfreaking believable that the investigator is literally going to sit there with a straight face and say, well, we don't have proof beyond a reasonable doubt, when it's all recorded.
But you can.
He said I already did. Y'all keep denying him.
Well, sir, now the case is closed. I believe that will no longer be an issue. Like I said, I know it's not what you wanted to hear. I hate to be the one to tell you, but it is ultimately my job to tell you. So,
well, you think you're doing the right thing because you said ultimately it's up to you whether he gets charged or not. So you don't think you're doing anything wrong.
It is ultimately my decision, sir. Yes.
So, so anytime I'm fearful, I can just put a gun to someone's head.
I'm not going to answer hypothetical questions back and forth, sir. I completed it.
It's not a hypothetical question because you just said there's no proof beyond a reasonable doubt if somebody's fearful and puts a gun to an innocent person's head. It's not hypothetical. You just said it. So or is what you're saying hypothetical, Mr. Investigator? Boy, oh boy.
Thorough investigation impartially and used two independent legal sources to form an opinion. Like I said, sir, I'm sorry. I know this is not what you wanted to hear. I can obviously tell you're upset, but unfortunately, it doesn't change where I'm at. But I do believe FOIA requests will be granted due to the case being closed now, sir. So if that helps you in any other course you wish to take, as far as I believe you'd set a restraining order.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
And that would be the most impartial thing for.
It's the best you can do, and then whatever however falls, it falls. Mm-hmm. Did Barry call y'all?
I have not talked to him yet. No.
Do talk with him because he's got the rest of the story.
I've been on the phone with a lot of people today. I got a lot of statements. I've been going through hours of body camera today, and when I talked to you, I was actively typing my supplemental report out.
And I may have been talking nasty, but I wasn't. And my with the 911, my biggest problem with that was, and me talking that stuff, is this like we'll get to you. Mm-hmm. That's my biggest issue with that, and that's something y'all didn't have no control over. But I'm sitting there with somebody that's threatening everybody he can threaten. Mm-hmm. And now he's surprised me on the street, and I'm as close to me to you, and we'll get back with you, you know. And that ain't.
That was, you did not call 911 when you were until you were right with him, correct?
Well, when I didn't see him.
Yeah, I mean what I'm asking is, you weren't in your truck when you called 911.
No, I didn't see him. I didn't see him.
You were backed against the wall?
I was against the wall, yeah.
And you took, I know that picture you sent me. And
I was backed against the wall. This guy can't tell the truth.
You're saying you called 911 directly after that?
Yeah.
Okay. And
I wanted to get a picture of what he was doing for SLED and to do whatever y'all were doing, where y'all have it. And I was doing 911. And if he left, I had a thing. And if he didn't leave, because I figured y'all be there in about 2 minutes,
Yeah. And you thought he would.
Well, once I figured he'd just stay in the thing. Y'all be there in 2 minutes. He said, "Well, I wasn't doing nothing." Well, here's what he was doing. This fella's been doing X, Y, Z. Give me a report. I'm taking it to the solicitor in Spartanburg where I can get my thing. And then he just keep going. And had y'all been there sooner, we wouldn't have been in the situation we are. But I understand all that. But it put me in a bad position that not only am I in a bad position, I might not get the cavalry might not be here. Mm-hmm. And that's what's going. Okay. And I'm against the wall there because I'm in a safe place with him in that truck. Mm-hmm. And when he decides to come out of that truck, I ain't in a good place.
Okay.
And we're talking about in a place less than this.
Sure.
And that's the biggest deal. And I didn't know he was there. Had I rolled up Randall Street, I probably would have seen him. And I would have driven on around to y'all, and I'd probably walked in the thing and told y'all to come and get a picture of this and make a report. But I like I said, I didn't see him.
I'm sick of listening to this guy. This is so disgusting. I put another question in the chat for a poll. Do you think that this lying judge is rare? I bet you anything, based on what we know, that the system is so corrupt. There are so many judges in this same boat, of this same mindset, who would do whatever they can to weave a tale to make somebody who's innocent seem guilty when they are the actual guilty party. And there's no telling, like, immorality swings both ways. Not only is he trying to save his own bacon, how many people has he put in prison unjustly? How many people are sitting there rotting in prison, like, you know, what Ann Zimmerman just did to Chile, or any judge does to anybody for no freaking reason? No justice for people in the club? All those citations said by politicians listening. Yeah, they walked free. Yeah, the Ghislaine Maxwell. No cameras there. Let's see. Gosh, there's some ugliness going on in the chat, huh? Let me read some super chats here, and then we'll get out of here. All right, so we got Dan Harmon, who's been a member for 7 months. Thanks, Dan. I appreciate it. Let me scoot this over to this frame. That'll be easier to read. All right. Dan Harmon has been with us for 7 months. Steve Harloa is 18 months. Much love and aloha. Everybody hit the like button, he says. Yeah, don't forget to hit that like. Derek Morris gifted 5 Here's the Deal memberships. And so did Steve Harloa, gifted 5 memberships. We Got a Call is a new member. Welcome aboard. Derek Morris bought 5 more memberships. Derek Morris has been a member for 1 month, and he says we all have to do our best to work together. Amen. I totally agree. RJ drops $10. Judges have far too much power. We don't need bench trials any longer. Only juries should determine fates of citizens. History Bear says perhaps the dishonorable judge is projecting his own shortcomings onto this victim. And Jeffrey Duran says, can we get the deal in the video on the Marina Del Rey shooting, how the officers conducted their operation? I'm not angry enough about that incident. How long ago was that? And I don't know. I'd have to brush up on that. I do not know. Let me see. I watched a video the other day, says Rebecca, of a judge sending 43 people to jail because a cell phone rang and no one would own up to it. So he revoked everyone's bail and put them in jail. What the heck? Does anybody know anything about that? What? All right, let me.
I don't know if he's
here. Let me just before I get sidetracked. Here is El Jaw's channel. I'm going to drop that. There you go. There's the link for El Jaw. Let me refresh this. 185. I think he started with 174. Now he has 254 subscribers. Wonder if we can get him up to 300 before the end of this live stream. So he's got 254 subscribers. The link is in the chat room if you want to give him some support. I'm telling you this. Kyle Eljaws, who exposed this judge, and you know, he wasn't going out there trying to expose. He was just out there standing on his constitutional rights, and the demons came out. He wasn't wooing the demons to come out. He was just there doing what Americans do, standing on their rights, and the judge just became demonic and started issuing threats and lies and defamatory statements and just making up stuff. So, you know, it's like, you were out there provoking me. It's like, no, you provoked yourself. I was just kind of holding a camera and a sign. That's all I was doing. I mean, I wanted to show the world that you keep your oath and that you care about the Constitution and that you care about freedoms and you're a moral person. That's what I wanted to do. But just so happens you decided to do something different. Why is your chat lagging so much with latency issues? This was like 20 minutes ago. I don't know. Probably because I suck. Brian, you suck. Somebody in there said, I'm a joker. Brian, you're a joker. Oh, okay. Probably. Okay, guys. Thank you for joining. I appreciate you guys being here. Please subscribe to J Laws. Let me just refresh one more time, see if anybody's subscribed there. 271. We're like 29 from 300. Should we wait around? Should we wait? There's 557 people in here, 617 likes. Hit the like button if you haven't done so already. And let's just hang around. Can we get 300 subscribers in the next... Here's the link. Let's do it. Let's do it. There's L Jaw's link. Let's get him up to 300 subscribers. Can we do it? Refreshing again. We're at 272. We got 28 more. 28 more. Swamp Lover says, LOL, worst stream ever. Truth and Reality says, Brian, you're awesome. How about that? How about that? King Braveheart says, yes, let's wait. Thank you, Lori. HCD for the win. Thank you, guys. Brian, much love, bro. Don't take people seriously. I stopped doing that after I got fired. Oh, man. Love you back, Shamil, over there in New York, the Iron Jungle. Let's see. Concrete Jungle. Oh, 286. We got 14 left, guys. 14 left. Just sub says Mystica. I'm glad I could make your live, Brian. Much love to you. L Jaws, subscribe to you. Mad Hatter Matt says. Judge walked down the street to get back up to the wall, says through my lens. The Joker says subscribed. All right, good deal. What's up, Steve? Much love to everybody. I'd still love to have you on my podcast as a guest. I understand that you are very busy, but if you are interested, let's see. My contact is. Can you email me again? Sorry, Steve. I dropped the ball on you. Sorry about that, man. The judge's name is Judge Robert Ristano and was removed from the bench. However, he is a mayor now and doesn't like filming in public. The people removed him off the bench, called him a petty tyrant. Thank you, King Braveheart. That's very humbling. Sub from Chicago says Bullet. Here, let's refresh again. Can we get 305? You guys did it. You guys did it. We did it right here on the air. What's up, Modern Retros? 3302. Jim says, I'm not butthurt, Brian. Just saying. Thank you. And King, if you're out there, not King Braveheart, but the other King, who was it? I'm sorry I called you out. King Longswipe, was it? I don't know. King something. Let me see if I can go all the way up. I'm not here to make enemies. I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. Not saying that your feelings are hurt. Yeah, I don't, I tried to stay on task by reading just L Jaws and News Now Ninja. I know News Now Ninja had he dipped his foot in this particular pool dealing with this judge. So I knew he knew what he was talking about on this. I was trying to narrow it down. Mine said 308 subscribers when I just subscribed, said Ron. 312 right now. Okay, guys, you rock. You're awesome. It's 7 p.m. We're going to end this right here before the 2-hour mark on this video. Thank you for being here. Remember, the price of freedom, or freedom does have a price, and it is eternal vigilance. You can't be apathetic. You can't just put things on the back burner. You got to champion the cause of freedom. You got to do it right now. The price of it is eternal vigilance, and indifference to this notion is the means by which the people have and will secure their own oppression. Stop securing your own oppression and start today. I will see you guys in the next video. Don't forget to hit the like, and do not forget to make Judge, what's his name? Judge John M. Rollins from Greer, South Carolina. Here's Greer, the Greer Police Department. Make him famous. Make him the most famous judge in the land. Why don't we? Reach out to Lackluster, reach out to Audit the Audit, reach out to SJVT and all the big channels, and let's expose this judge for the lying criminal he actually is. He should be behind bars and in an orange jumpsuit. I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.